So therefore, created in such a Masuda Dekefen, and then comes the Chabrus, which is what do we do? So okay, Pepel Mam's fine. All these arguments are showing what do we do? So the Rebbe Rashab went into whole arichas and limit HaTeira. The Teira, the whole discussion, what is Teira? And he's still in the middle of this. What is Teira? The Teira is this mamutza. So in other words, basically the ACs, let's say, of Ak, the Loshen HaAvede, this limit Teira. So Teira has both these elements. And goes the whole arichas with Teira, the union for Shashuyim, the Fonov, and the David's Midrash, difference between Chitzenis HaTeira and Primis HaTeira. And again, many ways that he explains the Barichas Teira. The Teira, he began right away, the Teira as a cloud, Chsuma Nitna, or Megillah Nitna. So Teira is it Teira like one picture, or is it piece by piece? There is bottom line between Primis HaTeira and Chitzenis HaTeira. And Primis HaTeira, Chitzenis HaTeira, Gufi da beide Sachen. Then he went into the whole union of the Dreik, the Klaska Shuraim Dabedah, that Teira, what's the Nekuda here? He's basically translating everything we learned about Eir, now in Isis from Teira Eir, so to speak. But Teira Beite Sachen. Von one side, Teira is Nifrid, because you don't say Skashus on something that's one, that's Dvekas. So Skashus is like a separate thing, but Tzenzach the Skashus is the Chmakushim mit Asmus. And then he goes in more bedakas. I state Teira Yisrael, Teira, as I said, Kula Chad, is they're different vekas, not discussions. So he goes, Darichas, there's beide Sachen. Chitzenis HaTeira and Primis HaTeira, and then Chitzenis HaTeira Gufa has both things, and Primis HaTeira has both things. There's Sosim with the Gallion, there's Gallion Sheba Sosim. The bottom line, to cut, is that Teira is our tool, the Moshal Kadmeni, to get back. To have beide Sachen. There was the Metzias, like he says. Yeah, there was the Metzias. Betchila is that the Nafshalem, for sich. For du sollst sein Mekusher. Danach comes some Madrega, and the Indian is that there was Mekasher and the Rebishter mit Teira. Again, you constantly have. So limit that Teira with Pashtus, he doesn't say the Aces, but they say, you learn Teira Shlei L'Shma. There's echt Teira. You turn Teira Shlei L'Shma and Bedakas at the lens, as du sollst sein connected. That's the Eira Gvul Shebeteira, so to speak. The Eira Bli Gvul is that the lens Teira was his Enzach mit Nebishter, so connects the David min Teira mit Alakus, and so on. So the bottom line is that it's Iskashus because it's closer to us. But on the other hand, it's Enzach Ech mit Alakus. Again, the same thing, like Eira Gvul is Ech Eir from Alakus, but it's an Eir that's Lefi Erechas. So when it comes down to it, the bottom line is, and it's brilliant because as Zefil Dargaz, that needs a whole effort to sit down and push and spell out every back and forth. But wherever you twist and turn here, this is why it's a hemshech, nishkin maimed. You have here all the Dargaz in Teira, Ginigla and Chassidus, and Primis, in each one, and all the kavanas of a person. Are you learning a dike the nafshi? You're learning for the Hecher Madrege, the difference in Shashuyim. On Zmiris, that's more or less the flow here. So it's all still connected to the original Nakuda that you need both Eid. But here it's now, when I say Isis of Aveda, because this is Indian of Teira.
Is he going to get still to Mark Teira, or he got there, whatever
I think he got there. I tell you the truth, I didn't mamish go later. So, but because I'm sure he gets back to it many times. I know in second Chiluk, for sure, Ayin Beis talks about it. It's so interwoven. But there's a flow. There's no question. It's like you need a little detective work to find exactly which Maimorim where he only says one line that connects it all. So there's a lot of. That's why it's so complicated.
That's what I talk about. Good law.
Yeah, I didn't mention every Madrig. I just mentioned my own. As I'm summing it up. Now, the next so-called break, which leads us into Tikku, is.
break?
Huh?
Tikku's taka like a break?
It's no question, not when it breaks. It's in the Indian, but it's a whole thing goes now for at least 30 pages. So what's the next step here? So I identify right here in Kiseitse. So the end of the when he starts Pei Kuf Pei Dal, that's the real break. Be the English like the Mashakasa, the Violet Kei. That's where it starts.
Well, in Tikku you repeat that.
Yeah. And it continues this process. It goes now for pages upon pages.
Is that where that's all just talking begins?
Not A little later. No,
Later,
not
that's
Mamash.
okay.
Yeah, but that's within this. But what's the last Pedic that's still the connection to Teda is Pedic Kuf Pei Gimel and Kisei. It was up to Levin. Here is the final Nakuda that even Chetzenis had Teda.
Finished, the copies are finished. Well, actually still at the beginning of Tikku, yeah.
Professor? Professor Lang closes his eyes and he downloads the whole Ayin Beis. I could see that. Right?
Yeah, 2 letters, Ayin and Beis.
Press unlock first.
The Orthodox Union of the Union of Orthodox Scientists, the Rebbe was very much called Baranover, that's the too apologetic and everything when he told the Baranover he should build up science and Teda science, so Baranover said there is already a union of Orthodox Scientists. The Rebbe said 2 things. First of all, they're very apologetic, and we need something that's and secondly, they constantly adjusting Teda to fit into the science. So today's like this, like that. So Tversky.
So that's the same thing, that's being apologetic.
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
he said these 2 things. So first, Tversky was invited once to a conference for the Orthodox scientists, and he has a certain breitkeit, Chassidische breitkeit. Tversky, the psychiatrist
Yeah, you want from Mishura.
from Pittsburgh. So he writing all these books, living his day. So he was invited as the keynote speaker. And there's a mamash on my show. He got up, and he was expecting this big drasha, and he just said one thing and sat down. He said that everything ever written, from A to Z in science, and he went through anatomy, biology, geology, chemistry, whatever, dermatology, all the way to zoology. Imamish had one for each one from A to Z. Allah Chachmas, he says, can fit in between the Beis and Reish of Bereshis. And he said that. They were very insulted, and that was it. That was his keynote address. There's this. You have to have a Bateson to do that, right? You have to strike that from the records. Anyway, just since you said Ayin Beis, where's that stuff done? Okay. He said that here also. That's a lower darga of Torah. They said that by David. That's gekocht in the one. Austin Taylor is color Elam Kule. That's good for them. He got nenish because he missed the point that the Taylor is beyond that too. Okay. Anyway, so in Pei Kuf Pei Gimel, what he said was like this. This is like the last step in the whole. I'm reading from the Kitzur. So even Chetzenis HaTeira, which is mamish like the lower level Eira Gvul, is also Kul Echad. And he said 2 key nekudas. I think it's critical to keep that in mind because I'm sure that's going to develop. One is 2 reasons that's the way. Yes, b'chol hamadrega shebeteira. So Shashrim Lefan, I'm reading from that. So Kuf Pei. I'm just reading the Kitzur. So because even the highest darg of Shashrim Lefan, that's Mam Shashri Latzmuse, is also in every piece of Teira, all the way down to Mamish Ketzenis HaTeira. V'abeis mipnei shechochma de Teira ha'atzmi. Because the Chochma of Teira, in other words, even the Chochma of Teira, Chetzenis HaTeira is the other way around, is atzmi. He doesn't elaborate a lot about it, but he makes a very clear statement in Kuf Pei Gimel that does not yet developed. So it's clearly that from Kuf Pei Dalet and on, where we are now, is coming to explain these 2 things. So Bira Inyan was the Bira Inyan. So before that, he says that there are 5 things in the pasuk, right? He spelled out 5 madregas. What was the 5 madregas? Goes like this, right? Amen.
Isn't it
Amen.
that even in the
Amen.
Yeah.
isn't it that in the Chesenics that this Shurim is also is because it's Atzmi? What isn't it the same point?
No.
No, why?
One is that even that the timing of the Eibishter is everywhere, in all the chalke of the timing. So it's even in the it's more like mitzvah the timing. And the second, the chachma of the Eibishter, which is a chachma which is a lower level. Remember, chachma is ma'ayin to much. Even chachma is also atzmi. It's like from Beis Zayin.
The Gili is also.
I said it doesn't really explain the barichas, but it does start to saying that there's 5 dargis in the pasuk. Remember, the whole thing was shashrim lefanai, and Oman. Remember Oman. Yeah, that basically connecting the two things, that the Torah that is a stakal barash about Amma connected to Welt is one with Shashuyim. So now he says there are 5 things, and these 5 things are I think that is the main key explanation why he's starting the Biur in Yeshaya Havaya Lekeyata Rememcha Eidush Sisapella, because there was what are the 5 dargis. So the 5 dargis is, let's just go through it quickly. Is Shashim Eyes Le'amin ve'Eyes Shashuyim Yem Misachekes Lefanu B'Chol Eis Misachekes B'Teivel Artze V'Shashuya Es B'nei Adam. These are the 5 things. No explanation at this point. But the bottom line is, but the only thing he says is these 5 are connected. How Teda goes through 5 the whole Seder Shtashlis. What does he say? That the first is Teda in Chachma Bina, right? Yes, Yechola Hei Madregas HaKol B'chinas Einik, U'medar Behem Madregas HaTeda Yarda V'nimshla Hain HaTeda K'mushim B'shoshim K'ir B'chinas HaKeser. Then nachher das B'sayere den Chachma Bina. Then nachher Zah Malchus and Elam Mizbiyah. 5 things. Keser, Chachma Bina, Zah, and Malchus and Elam Mizbiyah. Kids is different. Probably not a student. It's probably. So the first darga is Eslamin. Amen Mufla and Mechusa. Shekol Mufla Atik. It's clearly Kesses. Yeshlem the Chol Pnimis HaKesses and Nikol Mufla. Says that in the Kitzur too. Yeshlem the Chachma Ak Nikol Amistah. Okay, so and to explain that, he starts with this pasuk. So first he starts with the first half of the pasuk, and now he's up to Kasisa Pella Eitzes Merachik, right? And then Amuna Uma. The Kitzur that the Rebbe Rashab rather is explaining here now Teda. He's coming to explain how every level of Teda has the einik of Shashuyim. To understand it, it goes through this whole Arichas Apsuk. So that leads us all the way to Tikkun. So we'll read Tikkun, and we'll see here is going to be a Kitzur of this whole Hemshah. But now I would basically say the beginning of Kisei Pei the Kuf Pedal starts with the new a biur in what? In all the dargas in Torah. So you finished basically. We know there's 2 things in Torah, which is reflects the 2 things in Eirek Vul and Blikvul, and now comes the whole Arichas in understanding the Torah Gufa. And this is going to go. Pella basically is I mean, it seems like it connects to the highest level of Kesser. Remember the 3 Perushim in Kesser? So I think one of them is Mufla Mechusar, right? Something like that. Probably connected to that.
What were the 3? What were the 3 types of Kesser?
But without it,
No, it's
The Shom.
No, Schwetzhalten to hold the Schnitt.
Especially when you never want.
Look. But if you don't, it becomes like, why is he adding this? What's supposed to come to add here? And this is going for a long time. This is not going to be a short. This is a good bunch of mamorim. I didn't even look how far it goes. I looked at the kitchen in this new truce. They have someone wrote a kitchen in Chele Gimel. Must be all of them. Yeah.
Why?
It's so lazily written. I'm gonna tell him because it's like he's looking at it and just writing this and says that. This is what I just said. No, I thought it would be there. It's a you look there, you don't see nothing. You don't see, plus you need something to connect. Like, why is he going? That's what the kitzur is for. Anyway.
It's not like this kitzur over there.
No, but I'm saying the kitzur of the whole flow of it, like the summary of it. So let's start. So we're starting from the beginning. Tika b'chedesh shefer, kaslim chagim. L'tzarich lav ma shenemer b'chedesh stam, v'loy pirush eze chedesh. Like achar kach nemer b'kesed. So we have to understand, why does it say b'chedesh stam? It doesn't say which chedesh. Chedesh tishrei, chedesh harishon. It says the only thing it says b'kesed. Harem is Omer Azal eze chag chedesh. B'kaser b'ezeh Rosh Hashanah. There was chedesh being levana. Which chag is when the levana, the chedesh, is hidden and sealed? That's Rosh Hashanah, because the new moon. Sukkot becomes the full moon. The ene moving lechedesh lamen and betchilas stam v'achkach nesen simen havle leimer eze chedesh. It's like a double question. Why does he say tchila? First he starts stam, then he does say something as simen bekesa, and that gufa. Why don't you just say v'ech chedesh? Why does he need a simen? ובמדרש אבא אומר פרשת כותרת. Or even better, Tiku b'Chedesh Harishon, Chedesh Hashvi, whatever. Yeah. Ganz Tile mit der Chazé.
Okay.
ובמדרש רבה אמר פרשה חופטס sagt Isser Abrachje Psach Pasach Tiku b'Chedesh Shefer v'chi Chol HaChadoshim Einam Chedesh. So we say Chedesh Stam, every Chedesh is Ela B'Kesa Shechedesh Nichse v'chi Chol HaChadoshim Einam Nichsim. Every new month is a new moon, is Nichse. It's weiter, even the Simon doesn't know. El Yem Chagenu Sheyesh B'Chag. So the Chadiyuk is not just B'Kesa, it's B'Kesa L'Yem Chagenu, not Charemes. It needs to be both B'Kesa, but in a month where there's a Chag. Not every month has a Chag. Halei Nisan HaChedesh Nichse V'yesh B'Chag. Then he asks, but Nisan also has a Chag. So you got it down to 2 months, fine. El HaChedesh Nichse V'yesh B'Chag V'Chagei Ben Yemei Zet Tishrei. So it states, but I've had my ganze drosha 5 steps to figure out which month, because every month is B'Kesa. And between Tishrei, so it has to be a Chag, Ben Yemei, Zet Tishrei. What's mean Ben Yemei?
First day. Chag is the same day as the Kesef.
First day.
And Pesach is a Chechel, is all betalk.
No, not the first day of the month.
month. Beginning. So the beginning of the month.
Oh, but no, so instead of Chedesh Nisan is not a Yontif, but it has a Chag in it, which is Pesach.
Yeah, but each month has a Chag.
You need, but
Chag is the day of the Kesef.
that's what he means. The Chag is not Sukkot Shir. He's talking about the Chag of Rosh Hashanah. Oh, okay, that Pirush. There's a Pirush B'Yom Chagenu Sukkot.
But that's what Rosh Hashanah is like.
No, that's the answer.
Anyway, so really interesting. You could have just said it's Tishrei again. It's Tishrei.
Yeah, but if this is where we're learning about Rosh Hashanah, and we don't know about Rosh Hashanah till this.
In other words,
how
you're
do we
saying,
learn this?
what should have said if it would have been Pesach? The aim, not Chagenu, what should have said? The aim, Chagechem, what?
No,
How do you know it's Ben Yemei?
No, he's saying that it's in
Kesef,
Kesa, the year.
Okay, the Yom HaChag is
Yeah.
the day of the Kesef.
Okay.
But how do we learn about this? Is what we're learning
Ben
about
Yemei.
Chag.
Okay, fine,
How do we
fine,
know
fine.
if we don't know already the Chag is there?
Yeah.
No, the piece of information that this person is giving us is Tiku. The Chag we know about. Which Chag should be Tiku?
Right, that's the point. Right.
We know from another person.
Yeah. Yeah, but bottom line is connected to Art Kufa because at least he mentions Pesach here. Okay, fine. So tzarich lahavim. Ma mechadish b'zeh shachag b'yena hani b'yema kesed afke. What do you need? So what's the grace of chiddush? What that the chag is in the yema kesed. Okay. Lahavim kozeh, and you see here, you can see that that there's a beginning. He not only that, he brings the pasuk in the chatzigel. He said it already, which pasuk it is. So it's like you can see that the Mammon is we're in this area. The Rebbe Shikta is winking to us. Okay. That well, it's like going back to that. So lahavik was talk lahagdim mashakosu v'shaysim chofei aleph avaya lekeyater memcha lekeyater memcha eidashim chakesisapela it's eitzes merachik emuna umam. What's the pirush aposhin pasuk? Huh?
Well, the first one, Avaya, he's talking to the Eibushter. And the Kayata,
I remember I did this techel for him. Eidashim I acknowledge you kasisapela because you did wondrous thing. Eitzes merachik.
Old time mates. Merachik means old time.
All time, or it's merachik as a
Merachik I think means alte,
but nicht alt in the Malyusa alt.
Yeah. You have
What's
old
Amuna
ages.
Uman? What meant Amuna Uman?
That's what they go.
Who's this they? Is what I'm wondering. It's vague. Okay. Okay. The Isa Bezayar, and this too he brought. Let's just see a second. Yeah, back in Kiseitse, he brought this Zayar too, right? Well,
Also, he was starting a new year, so he like.
right, but it's a Hemshech. I mean, it's New Year, but it's 1 week later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vashtet in Bolak, Kufza the Gimel Amid Beis. Mama says it again here. Yeah. So he says like this. How does he tie this pasuk? Hashem lekezel chachma bina.
Hashem is Chacham, Kaya is Bina.
Yeah. The Havaya b'chachma v'alekaya b'chinas bina shnikra lekim chayim. He was made about Ichus Kiseitse. So, Mashakosu v'alekaya kavon al b'chinas tfuna moker hamidus. So it's not just bina, it's the chelik of bina that's mokar amidus. Atohu, the third thing, remember, havaya lekei ato. Ato b'chinas chesed. And it's galos aksodim shemeirim b'chinas malchus. Kumesh kosev ato koyin le'elam b'chinas chesed. Al divrosi, malki tzedek b'chinas hamalchus. Bottom line is, the whole Seder Shtalshus, the whole Sfiris. V'gam ha-malchus nikra ato, u'kenei de chochma chesed u'malchus nikra ato.
It says,
V'nimsa,
Hashma Masha Lamoitza Bepicha Lidana.
right,
So that the Tash is the Torah, Hashma Masha Ato, the Tash is Ato, Takas Malchus, Knesset Yisrael, the Shama.
okay. V'nimsa, the begimel tevis, these first three words of the Apostle in Yeshaya, havaya lekei ato, nichol kolos eses Sfiris m'chochma ad ha-malchus. So that's first statement. Okay. Bottom line is chochma through malchus. Then goes further the next step, edem imcha. The reimim kolos ishtalshus b'chinas reimim sakeser. So the point here is that you're taking Hashem lekei ato, all the eses Sfiris. Let's touch it in our ACs, the Eira Gvul, the Eira Vishtalshlus, and you want to lift it and exalt it and bring it to the level of Keser. Back to the theme of Ayin Beis, Keser. How do you do this? It's Araved. Remember, this is a kitzur of what he already said. This is nefesh inyan mesida haretzenis.
That's the first time, I think.
Does it say that earlier?
So that's in his nephew says, so that's
I think he may have said it. Like, okay, goodbye. V'kavanahu, what's the kavana? Limser kol etzeneshim haynugam harotzen ba'giluyim. That you have to give away even the rotzen and giluyim. Kameshechasu milim b'shamayim v'imchalei chafatzti, famous meisim, the Alter Rebbe. Rak lichlo kolel ba'atzmus and seif. So Naveda, what is Havaya lekei ato? That I feel that's all eses Sfiros, that's Chochma and Bina and Chesed, all the way to Malchus. That's not good enough. You want to go to Chesed. You want to go higher. That's the Naveda of it. So I feel the Hosda Giluyim, you have to give it away, in a way.
already,
Yeah.
Muzanarim.
Yeah. Remember, this is an Asis of Aveda, what he said earlier in Dafham Bitl. This is Bitl. It's nicht genug Elemis. Even if the Elemis are Elemis, the Gdusha, and it's a Lakus and everything, you need Bitl. You need to get out even of the Gidrei Gdarim of Elam. Of Seder Shtalshus, the Gdusha. Yeah, yes, so it's not enough for this Hargdi Yitzhahara. It's genug.
That's it.
And this elevates ganze Stalshlus. Or even more than elevate. Meremim is, but it's more. It's elevate, but as it brings it to another stature, another level. Because it doesn't say Mailim. Meremim is the Charamim. Close to Hainu Hagilui Milyon because Remus Hakesed. What's meant us in unsere Aces? Yeah. You're not giving them up. You're not giving them up to go to Kesed. You're elevating them because
By giving them
by
up to go
Mesidus
ahead, you wanna
Hadotz, by not being so-called down to them and just staying there. The Chassidin used to say, like about astrology, the Mazalas, all they have keiches. But that's the distancias, it's the stations. It's not the etzem. You want to have the etzem. So you get very easily stuck on the level of the Giluyim. The famous Moshe of the Baal Shem Tov, and Tefillah the Oni.
Kiyatev? No.
Yeah, Kiyatev. So he gives the Moshe of the two people invited to see the Melech, and one is a Chacham Gadol, and another is an illiterate pauper, Evin, Oni. It's a Moshe, and the first one comes and he sees all the Giluyim of the palace, so he gets stuck because he appreciates it. He sees the literature and the books and all the collections, the majesty of the king, and he forgets to miss his appointment. Come the Ani, versteht nicht alle Sachen, so he goes through all the rooms and goes and spends his time with the Melech. The Baal Shem Tov says, you stand before the Eibishter, say, feel the Ani, put away your Giluyim. So Snapshot be illiterate, but put it aside because you'll miss the boat. So it's a excellent motion how Giluyim can be mastered on the Etzem. So it's like this. Like what I mean, he's not saying it's marshal, but al derech zeh, they have to be ready to give up all the giluyim. Then you have the etzem, and then it elevates all your giluyim too, because they're not just yours. So the ani ends up asking the Eibush to the Melech for all the giluyim too.
Not only the Lord told you giluyim, you need the whole policy specialist.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a marshal for this.
You see it. Fixes up the see it.
Why don't cut and say how them somebody else?
Anything in the world is a see it. That's what has to be.
But then comes the next thing. Remember the Gili Er Chodesh whole arichas back? You see the Asis are here. Remember he said that the two things, the Eira Gvul doesn't bring a Gili Er Chodesh. Matan Torah did. The Ovis, Sof, they're stretching and they're bringing everything into the Shtalshus, but Sof, it's not a Er Chodesh. The Er Chodesh is only when you Meremim the Giluyim to Keser, and return what you get is a Er Chodesh P'chinas HaKeser. The L'chol Hamshachat Tzarech Lis Halah. That's a very key line. So for any Hamshachah, you need to have Allah, you need the Aveda for it. By the Allah, Yishtalshus P'chinas HaReim is the Ensev Mamshichim Gili Er Chodesh. So here again, you have there's both things. That the world changes, but it only changes when you change. So through our Aveda of Mesiris HaRotzin, and we Meremim, Allah is Yishtalshus. P'chinas HaReim was the Ensev, which is the Bittul. That the Giluyim, as big as they are, you stand bottled to the Reimus of Ein Sof, then you mamshel the Gili Er Chodesh. And to Davar Amil Sabbatayim. Because as long as you're in your Gedorim, how could you bring the Er Chodesh? It's still you. As big as your Giluyim are, it's you. You want something new, you have to do something new. The only thing new is Arez Gen for Zich. That's the bottom line. Okay. But on the other hand, as we're learning, you can't just Arez Gen for Zich, it has to be in Zich. So it's back and forth again.
Obviously, simple like Zich. If there's no Zich, like you said, you can't be illiterate. The point is not to be illiterate.
Yeah, but I remember there was a Bachar in Yeshiva when he went to, to France, there's a Rabbi Nissen, he says he's going to learn Tzadavna, came back, and he's like, Choshev now today, and he said to me, I said, no, how was it? He says, it was Geshmak, but not as Geshmak as he wanted it to be. So I said, maybe Avedis Atfil is not like Teira. Maybe it's not supposed to be Geshmak. So he told me, I feel it is Geshmak, that Avedis happens to Geshmak. So another guy was saying that, he says, no, that's the Chapeliship. It doesn't. But even Bittul has to. So I don't know if that's what you mean. You also have to have something. You have to make profit. I'm ready to be bottled, but I need to.
You have to have what to put aside.
For sure. Don't worry. I don't think Yesh is the problem. We're not that much like it, but just in case. I mean, look. The point is, it's the kavana. The aim is that it should be betachtein in our gedorim. So. Now comes the second half. What's the context of the pasuk? Imagine taking a pasuk as a pasuk and making it a whole yisod. That's. Yeah.
You make it the whole.
Hine pasuk zeh Yeshaya said b'nevuah ke'ein hakdom la nevuah she'em menachazeh shemenav al bitl malchus denega. So this nevuah, which is about the Remus, is also connected to as hakdome to what he says afterwards about bitl haklipa. Because the cheder, what we just said is all in kedusha.
Don't you remember Yeshaya? Menav al bitl.
Commission bringt Reich. Commission kosher achikach besamte meir. Legal. Illegal. Isabel Bechaye. What's the posh part? Pshat. Something made illegal.
From a town, from a civil settled.
Ir as ir. Legal to a. Okay, so it's a churban. Yeah, it's a bittel. What is the state in Bechaye? Isabel Bechaye the meir. And Asis miyar. Who the chazer miyar is battle the illegal. Okay, so Meir, what's Meir? Yeah, the yard of Yichasamana.
He didn't bring last time the Chazuk.
He did, he wrote. Yeah, he wrote.
Okay, this is by Yaakov Loden.
Yeah, but there was more like they made a little mound.
What's that? It's a mound.
Yeah.
You have a whole town.
Take a whole town, make a little.
Gal literally means churva.
Gal means
Gal means a mound.
And you have churul, you have a mound of.
No, I
You turn a sin into a pile of
but
rocks.
sometimes gal at somis the marshal. It's a mound of a pile of bones. But gal is never used as a valley is an emek. Gal is never used as a valley.
Tail.
What's a
Tail.
Tell
That
us.
was also a mound.
Little tail.
So what's a valley is an emek. Emek is a valley. That's a
Emek.
cave. No, that's a cave. What's an okay fine.
How much the word for valley?
Because
Gay,
gates almovis.
in the kabacha.
Bika. Okay. Okay. So Bekitzer. So what's the connection?
Nacha, wadi.
All right. Everything going good?
Oh, great.
Okay. So what is the okay? So what's the nekuda here? So here's the word what Yeshai is trying to say. So the Rebbe Rashab is trying to point out here that's not just the kedusha. Yeshai is talking about giving up giluyim to reach Kesed, and with Deishi is battle malchus the nega, which is this level of yad. So he's adding now that this also affects even the klippa. That in order to be mevatel and turn it into a gal this yad, you need to have the hamshach of the Erech Chodesh.
That's gal is like sapka. It's going down.
Correct, right.
It's up.
So now he's not just dealing with Atzilus and the Spirits. V'zeu de Barosh Hashanah. V'zeu de Barosh Hashanah.
So this new comes from the Gittel.
What's his? That's problem.
How do you read V'zeu de Barosh Hashanah? The Oz?
Said he was doing so.
V'zeu de Barosh Hashanah. The Oz? Okay. V'zeu de Barosh Hashanah. V'zeu.
As if it was a comma right after Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, no, it was showing it. Oh, the top.
Those are Tachas Hareim was the Ein Seif, which is connected to Rosh Hashanah. Then is the Tachas Hareim was the Ein Seif, K'mayim HaMelech HaKodesh, HaKodesh HaMuvdal. We say HaMelech HaKodesh. What's Kodesh is Muvdal, is Reim HaMelech.
Till the Abishah decides to become king again on Rosh Hashanah, till that tiku, the Abishah is Mereim HaMuvdal and Gatzis from Welt.
Oz Dafka Anu Mavakshim V'Harisha Kula B'Oshan Tichla. And that's why the two Ktavos, in other words. Okay, what's the connection? You talk about the Eibishter Zerem as high as it gets, but at that time you mavakish that the Risha Kula, all the
We're
evil.
asking Malay Chalenu on Kala and Kula. You gotta understand that we're asking him if we process in the same time that we're asking the Abishah Zerem Melech, Betman Van Risha B'Oshan Tichla. What's
Yeah. So that's the word. Risha B'Oshan Tichla.
what's the gear over his mouth? You want the Abishah to become Melech now.
Kitavir Mamshel Zodin Mina Oretz Liya Shazel Aydem Shokim Knesei Mesasim. Because the only way to mevatel Risha, to mevatel the Klippa, is through going to Reim Mesasim.
Or the other way around. The Baal does Rosh Hashanah is the evening of going to Reim Mesasim was.
Doesn't say it that way. But here's the Nekuda. Why is that the case? The case is very simple because as long as so there's two things here. Remember I said before you can't have an Erech Chodesh as long as you're getting, as long as you're in your Gvul. But another thing, part of the world is that there's Ra. How are you going to destroy Ra if you don't go outside of the belt? You know, you can insulate yourself, but you can't change part of the reality of existence, which is there's Klippa here. The only way is to go back to the Reim Musa Ein Sof where there's no Velt. And when you bring that in, so that has the power to change the so-called the wiring of Velt.
And how do you bring that to the world?
Through our halal, Mesiris Halas, Mesiris Nefesh. What I was going to say in Limud HaTeira, when you learn
Go
Teira.
out of yourself.
Yeah.
But the Abishah and I'm bringing an episode which is out of this world.
Exactly. Good. That's good bumpers too. Good.
Go out of yourself.
Yeah.
And he'll give us out of
Well, he said halal is tolling the Hamshach. Hamshach is tolling the halal.
Whenever it says how, yeah, but when it says Hamshach is telling Allah, doesn't mean Hamshach I'm out of this world.
No. In a Chanam, but here he is. Yeah. It's me to connect me. So that. וזהו גם כמה שאומר הרמ"ח בכדי להמשיך גילי ערך חודש מבחינת עצמי סנסוף לבטל את מלכות דנגל.
Today, the Hamshach Gila Chodesh. Mincha is number one. Step number two, the Hamshach Gila Chodesh מבחינת עצמי סנסוף. Step number three, the Vatal Machos D'Negel.
Yeah, but it's day. Why do we say Memcha? Like he said, that's by Yeshaya, it's the Akdam of Yeshaya. In order to be Mamshech Hagili Chodesh, Levatel es Malchus D'Negel. V'zeu Eider Shimcha. Now goes the next part of the pasuk. Remember the pasuk goes, what do we say? Lekayat Memcha. Eider Shimcha. Eider Shmecha. Eider Shmecha. Okay. So when your Eide is doch
Duh.
okay, but when your Eide, you made it the Eibers to be Mamshech Him Omayl Lamata. V'amshochi hi b'shimcha. B'shmecha, b'shimcha. B'chinas hamalchus li yisagili b'biyah.
I think he
Okay.
explained. I don't know because I think he explained earlier the Oida Shmecha. I
Okay.
don't remember it, but he explained Oida Shmecha. How is Oida Amshach L'mayla L'mata? Like Duh is Moed Menach L'ach, acknowledgement.
No, but bottom line is when you made it, you be mamshich. That's what it means. And what do you be mamshich? You mamshich it b'chinas hamalchus li yisagili b'biyah. V'hu she'yih hanez b'peil mamish, and he is shebitul hanega b'peil mamish. He's basically saying what Yeshaya is doing. Why did Yeshaya begin? Before he talked about bittul of klippah, he began with this whole lot of memcha, because you need to go up there and be mamshil that memcha edish shmecha into biyah, and that's when and that v'hu she'yih. This is in order to create the nest,
Asisa Pella is a nest.
right? Shebitul hanega b'peil mamish al debchinas hamalchus shemer b'gilu b'biyah. That's edish shmecha. Ki asisa pella bolavayer seder ve'efnam shachad el chadash. And the next part of the pasuk, asisa pella, is coming to explain the eighth, the seder, the order, and the efnam shachad el chadash. Eich shanim shel b'kol seishtalshus b'esas fuz vatzilus u'b'biyah. Okay. Valzeh eimer kasisa pella eitzes meracha kamuna uman. What does the Zohar say on this? Isa b'Zohar sham the chi asisa pella u'b'chinas ha'chochma. That's the Era Chochmas, that's a Kisui Levush. In you do the Chochma Nikra Aleph, Malchus, Maloshna Aleph Chochma, Shazau in Ulfen of Limud. Agze Kamesh Chochma Meir Begili, Vain Kins Agil, Chochma Shemer and Mendes Sapin.
Aleph Bina.
No, the way like discussing this. So
Now remember, there's a Kitzur, but what he said earlier. The Kitzur that goes through, so we got, let's just sum it up. The Kitzur goes like this so far. We'll go that Ata Lekei Ata Rememcha is Gans is Lekei. I'm saying Havaya Lekei Ata is all the Esses Svidus from Chachma through Malchus. And the Rememcha is you elevate them to Keser. That's Lamaylim say the Shtalshlus. Through that, you mamshech Er Chadash.
This
Lamata.
that you have to be Oida Shmecha.
1 second, right? Eider Shemecha, and that.
Begin to be out.
Yeah, and then it was, and not only is it coming to Atzilus and to the Svidus, it also is Mevatel the Klippa, and that creates the nest that he says afterwards. Kiashisa Pele, since Gamuna Uman, is how it comes down Lamata, that the Chochmeh is Malamed as Habina, basically. Okay, anyway, he's going to explain it now in the next Pedic, so we get weiter.
whatever the guys. Yeah. Understand?
Okay, so let's go. Kolza, Union Aleph, Masha Chochem Meir Malamed Lebchinas Bina. I mean, the truth is, you said it before Barichas. I don't remember, to be honest with
Bina
that.
doesn't have anything on its own.
Yeah, but how does that fit into this? He just went through the same Mustachos. We come to right to Aleph and Bina. Okay, I'll look at it later.
Levi say the Rabbi from Moshe.
You have to go back to how he was Meidach a little earlier here. He said, what did he say? I think he said that Teresh B'Ksav is Malamed Teresh B'Al Peh, right? That's how he types it. Yeah. Remember, there's a Kitzur, so it's Barichas here. I'm almost sure it's how Teresh B'Ksav is Malamed Teresh B'Al Peh. Which means how the Ptimis HaTeira is Malamed Chetzenis HaTeira. Can you verstehen Punkt? What that means? 1 second. Go back to the Pedic. Here, Pella Esis Aleph. Yeah. It's Pedic Kuf Pei Ches. Okay, I got it. Very simple.
It's interesting because we used to thinking the opposite. That Smithsonian is Torah Shabbat South. It's always like it's the framework of Torah. And here we learn
Because Teresh B'Ksav is closer to the Etzim, it's more bitl, right?
Understand.
Okay, he basically says, it says at the beginning of Peichas, that Esav Sisa Pella comes to add, Shabbadesh Yuchlu Zum Lisbel Ha'er, you need to have Tchila Chachma and then Noch Bina. Basically, the second half of the pasuk is telling you how you do this. That you need to have the Chachma teacher's Bina. That's how you're able to. That's what it says. Right in the bottom of the page, Ayin Beis. Yeah. He goes on with the mashal there that in order for the teacher to teach the Talmud, Asechel Amuk, Chodosh.
Where's the Chodesh in Torah?
The
new thing in Torah should be excited. It's always the same. We're talking about that as Chachma. You have to have a new thing.
Where's the Chodesh in you?
Yeah, something it's always Torah. Psalm is always the same. Never variable. Doesn't vary at all. And I don't know.
Your mamshich Chodesh, you're not in Chodesh Chidushim.
But then we're talking in this framework. We're talking about Chachma as the Torah should be solved.
Okay.
Maybe like the Tanya came to that Torah should be solved. Maybe
Do you see the Chidushim?
that's a new Torah should be solved.
Oh, the new Torah.
Okay, the bottom line is, you want to know what it is? Because he's going to say it later, I don't recall. This mamutza between the Alakus and Welt, between Gvul and Bligvul, the Zohar Ampen, microcosm, it's essentially Chochmah Bina. That's what it comes down to. Because it's all, again, how do you connect two different opposite worlds? That's what it goes, Adam Mimcha.
It's all over them. It's Eres and Kalim, it's Mala, it's always the same problem.
Okay, and we still haven't resolved it, so that's
Exactly. Connect with our
Okay.
It's not the same. It's similar, but that'd be the same thing. Like, for example, in that in this world, if the world exists, there's Yesh and Ayin, or Ayin Yesh depends on the companies. So it depends which way you're looking at it from, and to be able to have the Ayin and the Yesh is by Mizbachal, no?
sure.
The only way to get to the other side of the
Yes, you cannot stay. If nothing changes, nothing changes. That's what they say. You're not going to get something new without doing something about it.
and actually, the Torah should be solved. That we think about the words and everything. Those are really the Kalim. And the space between it, the white spaces in the Torah. And this is something that we can't even consciously explore or look at. That could be changing.
that's what zoology is between where and where.
Yeah, because when we think of Torah specific stuff, it's really only the Kalim of Torah specific stuff. The illumination is really what it's the Chachma. And that's so vague that it's called the whiteness of the Torah. You know, it's like.
Okay, so Kolzo Inyan Aleph Mashachach Meir Malamed Lebchinas Bina. So this is how Chachma is made in Malamed Lebchinas Bina. Remember, we're talking about Asa Pella, Asisa Pella, which is Asis Aleph, which is Ulfana. Ulfana means to teach. So basically, Asisa Pella is how Chachma is teaching Bina, how the Mashpi is teaching the Makab. Omnam Inyan Pella Shu Hepech Asis the Aleph. But the way it's when you say the word Pella, you're talking not how Chachma comes down to Bina, it's the opposite. Pella means a wonder, meaning like a sense of astonishment. So that's how Chachma is Eila, and that's why it says what he said from the Lashon of Zehar, that is Chachma. Remember the Lashon of Chachma Kisiv Levushla Eridatika Kadisha. So Chachma, for it to be able to teach Bina, has to first go up to
And
Kesser. Right. But remember, my lemes here is going to say is not to be mylem, but it's to the gala. Bechinas Kesser or Bechinas Helam. Because Kesser is higher than the whole existence. So it's Helam, it's hidden. Kesser on its own, like you learned before, shtika, right? It's complete Helam. It's a concealment that's beyond the level of Ishtalshus. It's not even a mocker. it's not the level of Helam of Kesed. There's a level of Kesed that's a Helam, but it's a hidden relative to the Gili, to the revelation. The Helam Hurak Masha Enim is Gala. That Helam is simply a matter of time. It's like Mechusar Maisa, so it's Mechusar Zman. It's Helam, it's hidden, but it's going to ultimately be this Gala. And it just means it's Helam. In other words, it's a hidden as in the absence of Gili. But here we're talking Kimu B'chins Helam Be'etzim She'ena Shayach L'Gili. But there's a level of Helam, there's a level of concealment that the Etzim is not and will never be revealed. So it's like anything inside of us, for example, there's something that you carry a secret. So B'Peil, you didn't tell anyone yet, but one day you may. But there are things inside of your heart and soul, Liba L'Puma L'Galia, that it's never going to be revealed. It's not Shayach to be revealed. It's too close to the Etzim. It always remains, like it says, Etzim Biltim Izgala. It always remains beyond Gili. Now he's going back to this. And when Chachma goes to Kesed, so when Chachma goes into Kesed, remember we're connecting again, Shtalshus and Lamaila. So even Chachma then is also Melosh Nafla V'Helam. Hafla meaning like a besides Hafla.
Mufla.
Beyond.
But also astonishment, like wonder.
Yeah, wow.
And Helam, it's like something that you don't get. You just know that it's something special, extraordinary. Like when you say the Eibush, is anything not possible by him? Wonders, right. We never spoke about Shnas, and then in the Floyes. So there's a lot of that here. Tavshin and Aleph. David is from the Hanush. Ain't a musik v'nelam. So when you say Kibul Cham David, you're talking about something that is not understandable. It's hidden. It's wondrous. Like something which is beyond you. Don't try to don't try to contain to understand it. Yeah. The Chagiga dafir Gimel Amar Aleph. For Bepirish Rashi, what does Rashi say there? Chagiga, b'mufla b'muvdal or mufresh mincha. Rashi teaches mufla means that it's muvdal or mufresh. It's separate, and muvdal havdalah mufresh. Two words for separate. So separate and muvdal mufresh mincha. Shloi rotza kosh baruch legalis lecha. That's what Rashi teaches. The Chagiga is talking there about Ma'aseh Merkava. You shouldn't learn the Ma'aseh Merkava except alone, etc., etc. So it says, "B'muflim cha al tidrish." What's it say? In Lano Esav in the studies. B'muflim cha, the lashon is mufla because it's beyond us. And Rashi teaches mufla mufresh because the Eibusha does not want to be revealed to you. Im kein zehu al derech ul mechasa atik dvarim shekisa atikim. So al derech, the level of atik, is in mechasa atik dvarim, the things that are.
The opposite of
That is a hepech in halimut. This is the opposite of ulfana lashon aleph. So the same chachma has, in other words, two sides to it. When it's an esis aleph, it's lashon ulfana. It's coming to teach. When it's eila to keser, it's lashon pella. It's something that becomes so beyond us. It shows how chachma. It says in Tanya that chachma perik lamed hey the agod that it's the keli for ulavade v'inzulose. Chochmah has koyach ma. You know, it's a sense of.
Especially from this whole concept of nicht lernen, weil man halt nach vorne.
Yeah. Aber wie der Rebbe hat so all gesagt, became drunk. He said, "Viele darf man haben Yoda, Edem halba Adel Yoda." Wie der Maral so gesagt. Was steht in Sechel? Das Sechel versagt. The Inyan Ahela Masha Chochmah Dafka Ma'il Me'ir HaKesed. To understand what is this Helam that Chachma Dafke is Ma'il Le'ir HaKesed. Yuvan al derech Moshel ba'adam shesichle v'keich Chachmosei Chazak. Yesh b'keich Helam has this ataynik. So for example, a person who's a smart Sichle v'keich Chachmosei Chazak, he is the strength of his mind, his brain power is such that he has b'keich to conceal the pleasure. A person is such a mind that he can conceal the pleasure
Play poker, that's it. Play
Poker
poker.
face,
Well,
yeah.
the more he knows, the less he shows.
So why is the Rebbe Hashem not bring the Moshe of poker? It's interesting.
I think they took it out the censors.
Okay. But I understand you're relating it to
The Vegas.
how
My
the
life.
Yeah.
Gotta make it personalized.
So he has been able to conceal this interesting marshal, be able to conceal the pleasure that even was come to etzem nafshi. So even when he has pleasure that mamish touches his etzem nafshi, he's able to conceal it, and you can't see anything on his face. Because when you have pleasure in something, had a tiny babagili. The fact is, you have pleasure. Somewhere you see it. Simcha is taken not as revealed like simcha, like joy. Shabab is galus of his pastures. Simcha, as we know, is like yontif for simcha. So it comes out mamish be galus of his pastures. It's very, very revealed and spread out. That's why begin the chnososarchim and yontif, not so much Shabbos, because simcha is crazy. The simcha is with other people and his pastures. Mashenken einig she'einu ba his pastures is galus kol kach. Einig type of pleasure is not on that level. Because you do a hefresh in my memories. If you do a hefresh ben simcha, einig the simcha he mahabina. Kameshkos mem abon smecha. Kins be a lish zel masha ba his pastures is rachvesh aseichel ba his galus mamish. Basog be prot. Why is it em abon smecha? Because just like simcha is his pastures, bina is not just the nekuda of the idea. It's the whole havana of asog of it. Bina is the whole embellishment and elaboration. And that's why from Bina Dafka comes Simcha revealed. And also Pale his galus called Davanella. And that's why Bina also pales like Simcha his galus. Come on, his spilers, but this Shabbos Seichel, Shabbos Galan Belev, Adeh Simcha. Like, for example, when a person has a spilus, which is what? He's emotional. I translate spilus. He's emotional. Excitement, okay. Excitement. So it's Midrash Shabbosech, Shemas Galan Belev Idea Simcha.
The definition of a translation of his spilus is really affected or moved.
Yeah, from Paul. Yeah, I understand. But, okay. The Teva HaSimcha Lifli is gathered Kameshakasa Be'erech B'da Samach the Samach of Reish Nun Zayin. This is all the Maimon HaMuzga. V'hatainug the Yesib B'chinas HaChochma. Taining on the other hand, which is the level of Chochma, She'enu B'chinas is Galus Adayin Adarab B'chinas Nekuda. It's only a Nekuda. She'hu in a Kivutz V'iskalus Ba'atzmei. It's more where you come
Simcha
more.
is this way and Enig is this way.
Right. And Enig is more like
Kibbutz.
going Kivutz is almost like
Inward
inward.
directed.
Tainig and Enig, same thing. Yeah.
Inward directed.
Iskalus Ba'atzmei, it's inward. Alkein Gama Tainig Enig B'isgalus B'Ispashus. Alkein, that's why Tainig is not, if someone has pleasure, it's not like dancing and dancing, extending yourself. It's more internal. But who a hefresh bein? Here we're saying between Chachma and Bina. But who a hefresh bein made him the simcha? Yeah, but usually the Tainug and Atakanarach is usually Tainug and Rotz.
Right.
I don't know. He doesn't bring that here. He's bringing here Chachma and Bina. So v'zeu who a hefresh bein made him the simcha? Bechinas meichen the ima. Ubeshabbos v'karos l'shabbeseinu bechinas meichen the abba. That's the bottom line. So Simcha is Bina, Yom Tov, Shabbos is, and Einig is Chachma, Meichen the Abba Shabbos. But nevertheless, remember he's going back to the Moshul. We're talking about the Chacham and the Seichel Chazak. He's able to conceal. So he's saying, nevertheless, nevertheless, even though it's not like Simcha, it's still revealed to some extent. And he brings a right. When a person has Chachmas Adam Teir Panov, you see his face shines with Chachma. That comes from Einik. U'kumoitzovu Panov, the Gemara there, Rabbi Yehuda, that when he came to a town, so
you think Hashem is
One
Ayin
second.
Beis. That's what he said.
okay, today is good. Yeah.
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 And Chachma
Okay,
has
great.
the
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it says there that Rabbi Yehuda came into the town there, and the goyim were talking about why is his face so glowing. So as one person said, he's malvul beribus, that he got a good interest on the loan. Another says because he ate a good piece of. Yeah, the Gemara, it's Yerushalmi. And they came to him, so he said no, that he found Atikta Chalata. Sorry, he found a Tosefta Chalata, Tosefta Atikta. K'meitzov upon him Megili Haskola Chadosha. So his face shined, and you could see that. So even though it's not simcha, it's more internal, but there is some expression of it. It's like you see. Like you saw by the Rabbi would learn something. Sometimes you saw or this, you could see the face lit up. So there is some gili from a haskola chadasha, from a new idea. And the same is kol einig. Every pleasure is nikr in the face of a person. Hakadosh panav ansabei. What's that come from? Where's the makkah hakadosh panav ansabei? You know where that's from? It's a psaloshin, maybe it's a pasuk. Okay, so bottom line is that you see it's nikkel, somewhere it's obvious in the face of a person.
Even einig.
The kashem sha'atzar, kashem sha'atzar va'etzev, just like pain and depression or and anxiety, whatever, etzev. Need of a nigla upon him, kamay vayiplu ponov. That's a nice lie. It says vayiplu ponov. Because you see their face, you see a certain ashen, see a certain form, crestfallenness. It says many places where you put on. Oh, so you see that even when it's just like tzad.
No.
Now do a nafla for panecha. Why did your face fall down? So called. Like why is your fallen face? So you see that that tzad. Pain causes the affects the face. Same thing, pleasure is obvious on the face.
The seichel chazak can cover up on the einig.
Wait.
1 second.
Wait. Oh no.
Listen, if the Rebbe Rashab, the Rebbe Rashab sits doch da. So he was saying the Maimer, you wouldn't stop him and say, hey, look, maybe he's going to say this. Michael Pekarski once did by Fabringen. The Rebbe was saying, he said to the Rebbe, he just blurred out. He said, the Rashi better sagt verkehrt. The Rebbe says, come on.
I never liked when he got involved, huh?
Better than people sleeping. No, but good, it's good. You see, you're not my little master, you're Einik. It's fine, I think Ayin Beis, you have to thank God when he brings a moshel. Because it's like brings it down a little to our level. Okay, so now we established that Einig is taka not like Simcha, but still there's some hakara. So if someone, a seichel person, a bar seichel, discovers a new ayin, a new idea, you see something on his face.
Unlocking it.
Oh, this is a made of the commotion. He's explaining, remember, Chochmah, how it's Eila and Keser.
Floor.
So Zevi, I think a good one we'll go to it. Omna Misha Keich Chachmosei Chazuk, but Emetz of us is Keich Chachmosei Chazuk. He's a really Keich of
Eyes in the cup.
Yeah, it's really strong and
Eyes in the cup.
He was cool, eyes in the cup.
Yeah.
Famous eyes in the cup.
Who does that talking?
No.
The famous eyes in the cup. His name's Einig. Oh.
the Eyes in the Cup coming echt Teitchen Am Kshe Erev,
No. So you better move in there.
Strong-headed, strong.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm going to say.
Get up, please.
Let me know that.
Eyes in the cup.
Hey, we got to get to the punchline here.
Yeah.
Omna Misha Keich Chachmosei Bicholte Lahaylam Ulahastir Ba'atzmei Gam Tainug Atzmo. He's able to conceal completely Filo Tainug Atzmo.
What does he have to conceal it to us?
It's bald head for us. Yes, it's bald head. Bald head, there's a reason. Kamoi Kashem Avasim Le Psuda Teva. Like when you tell him a good Psuda, the Tainug Nifla Ma'ed, that he hears a good piece of news, that gives him a Tainug Nifla Ma'ed. Drei L'shein is that. A pleasure. Nifla, a Gevaldik. Ma'ed, very Gevaldik. Asher megez be'etzem nekudis atzmusei. Give a quick description here.
That's called a tiny. This wouldn't it be called a simcha because it's like a roll of process.
No. He's talking about something that's giving him no.
Somebody's handing it.
Simcha
It's just
is.
like you're saying. Just like you said that it's teaching.
Just think of Tainug as being an inner pleasure. It's not simcha is joy. Joy is a celebration. Tainug is a different thing.
It was associated with the cup.
He's giving an example.
I'll give you an example. Someone you come to Absurda Teva, a person of Absurda Teva, a father hears that his daughter is getting engaged.
Right.
So we're not talking about the wedding and the dress up. We're talking about the inner pleasure that he gets from it. Or some other major Absurda Teva.
Okay, but if it's boring, it would be that. When you taught something, it's not a clean.
Why not? Absurda Teva could be the same thing. Shmuel Teva Tadash and Etzem. His brother Ayin, when he heard, as Pesanish heard that he's going to be king, so his leg became big. It was a pleasure. It wasn't joy in general. Is celebration has to have something. There's no such thing as when you say the word inner joy, that's pleasure. Joy generally is a feeling of celebration and it could be connected. You could have pleasure and joy. Shabbos is not just Einig and Yom Tov isn't just simcha. They both have each other, but primarily. For example, you can't have simcha without anyone else. The Rambam says, but you could have joy. You could sit here with the sefer and have
pleasure.
Very deep pleasure. I'm just saying, the word joy and pleasure may not be a good translation. Because you could say, I have deep joy when I sit alone. That's semantics. Joy is more or less an expressive, like he says, it's hispashtus. Pleasure is internal. But even the internal pleasure, also you see something in the person. Like if you walked in the room or private, Lebel Gron, Yom Tov, Lebel Gron Simchus Torah was saying, when the Rebbe would get a good new kuntrus of a maimer, all day you saw it on his face. He would walk around in the room with the kuntrus and kept on saying, such
new maimer meaning a Xaviat?
or a new printed maimer usually. Something. I don't know about that. The Rebbe Rashav was massive. By the way, the Rebbe Rashav, he said that to Groner, that the Kenish Verstehen is on the Rebbe Rashav. So, Daf Len the Rebbe Rashav, so Groner has the Rebbe. The Rebbe is maimer. He says that's inside his kashus. Or inside Havana for Chassidus, Daf Len the Rebbe Rashav. He said it by Fabrein. He said, well, the Rebbe would have a maimer, especially the Rebbe Rashav's a maimer. Most of the new maimerim were usually from a Ksav Yad. The Rebbe may have seen the Ksav Yad, but there were sometimes he didn't see it also. You saw by Fabrein, the Rebbe would say, Eshtaris Anai Ksav Yad, Anai Dos. But the Rebbe, there was a big simcha, like Pidyon Shvuim. So you saw it. That's more, here's not the place to go into it, but the bottom line is, that's okay. So she's talking about this person gets Absurda Teva, the tiny nifla. Hashem agaz be'etzem nekudus atzmusei. It reaches to the nekudus and to the essence, the core essence of his being. Im be'etzem agdula v'kavod. Be'etzem agdula v'kavod, or it's absurd about reaching an unbelievable level of someone like elevates and becomes a king or is what's it called? Promoted to another level of greatness and honor. Or Absurda Teva, a good piece of news about becoming, getting a lot of money. Or the pleasure of a very profound piece of haskalah. Thank you. How do you this person who has seichel chazak, Chochmah, like he puts it here, is able to conceal the pleasure that no one should see anything. Nira v'nigla, shouldn't be visible and should not be revealed in any way. V'yesh adam, there's another person, she'en keich sichle chazak. There's another person who has seichel, but it's not sichle chazak, it's not that strong. V'ein matzah l'ruchei, and he cannot control, right, his spirit. This is Meichen the Katnus, which is called its Meichen, but it's not Meichen the Godless. It's a smaller mind. It cannot control. But when there's Meichen the Godless, he's able to conceal Helam, Hester, everything, everything that is interesting, he says, everything that you need to conceal. What does that mean? Some to something. The only thing that this reminds me, I mean, I'll tell you, that mamish comes to mind. You ever read Ashkafta the Rebbe? So there's the end there when the Rebbe Rashab says, "Menemer Arayin," he says to take his bed, last days of his life, into the base medrash in the Babbage, and he says, and then he says, "Kein Himmel and the Ksavim lo zechayich." He's going to heaven and he's leaving the Ksavim, his writings. So the whole family gets very, very bispilus, start crying. The Rebbe, Rebbe got really shaken up, and the Rebbe Rashab looks at him. This is what Beryl Rivkin writes, and he says, "Bispilus, meiche," right? And from that moment, Beryl Rivkin writes, he saw nothing on him. He changed his demeanor until the last second. Nothing was needed. So he said these ashes, Spilus, meiche, right? Made the peace. This is, I mean, it sounds to me when you're reading this, to be very honest, that he's talking about something specific. You know, like maybe.
What's so terrible in Spilus?
No, this situation, not Yossi.
Except that's essentially.
There is a tremendous Spilus. He's not saying that there's no Spilus.
No, Yossi, one second. He didn't say, first of all, he did not say always you have to be this way. He said that he's giving a dugma. I'll tell you what, it means, du gehst da rein zum Rebbe. And you're hearing something, no matter how this is not, there's a bittul. That's the point, because remember, we're talking about
chachma. You have to be that when you have to.
Right, right. Not that, like in a lot of things, it's not that whether you do it or not. You're capable of doing it. So, like a person, like I said, I can tell you right now, in the Zohar Rampam, we were chazin sichas when we heard the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said something made it. You had to mamish control yourself because you wouldn't hear later what he was saying because the spilus would take over. You had to mamish become like a machine, like cold almost, because the Rebbe said sometimes a gewaldige word or a gewaldige thing, and you dwell at least a minute and enjoy it.
No, even those things.
I remember things that Rebbe said that I know that I dwelled in it. Then later, at like the next minute, and you didn't forget what he said right afterwards. So it's felt very. It's a discipline that's necessary at times. I mean, why did Taka the Rebbe Rashab tell the Friedrich Rebbe Meichen? What's wrong? He's seen his father, Ali's and Hashama. Why can't he cry? It wasn't because he was a baby, he's crying. It was because I guess at that moment there was he needed to have that type of discipline. It's very nishkafta the Rebbe, the guy wrote that. Brilliant. So it's a document. Mamish documents every detail. Right?
He wasn't the spiders. Otherwise, you'll mail to him.
The last lines, it's unbelievable. He talks about the Elias and Shlomo. He describes the tears. No. Beryl Rivkin.
I know. He said before that he said it, and he had to write it. How did he know it?
Beryl Rivkin was there. He was
there
in the house. He was like he helped the Rebbe Shapran film. He was like a bocher in the house. It's unbelievable piece, unbelievable.
Wow.
But they say that the Rebbe wanted to write the hardest, because a lot of hardest in Nigla. Because the Rebbe Rashab was even when he was mamish cases, it was like the diyukim, how we put on film and bed, the mice.
He writes tremendous artists. Rivkin writes.
I'm talking about Rivkin.
But the Rebbe wanted him to write.
No, the Rebbe wanted. I heard the Rebbe wanted to write the hardest.
Is not that?
Yeah, I guess we're talking to the Rebbe when they put
it. I think you mentioned so.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. The Nigla there. The Rebbe Rashab, you can't believe it. And the Tanur Kalo was like
the letter that we found was
great. It's unbelievable document.
The Rebbetzins writing to Rivkin's wife before they were both married.
The Rebbetzin were very close. They have a lot of the pictures with the Rebbetzins from Rivkin's.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So the Rebbetzin is writing to her friend, to Rivkin's wife. Later, already was Rivkin's wife. Sorry, the Rebbetzin was a college. And she was already married. She was already married. And the Rebbetzin is writing, and you see the letter she's writing about she's a kala and that's the two is the Schneerson also, same last name. I don't change my name, I get to keep my name.
Beryl Rivkin's Sforim are good. He's a sefer to Feres Sin. You ever see that?
Yeah.
It's a very good sefer. And a gleiche Kopf. He's but anyway, that piece is
I saw of my own eyes.
You ever see what he says there? Talking about Ayin Beis, the Rebbe Rashab, middle of the night, had high fever, he had typhus, and the Kavyachol speaking,
Delirium.
Also that's it.
yeah, from Keats or
I
whatever.
mean,
But that's the story with the Enkalanda. Yeah, but there's
but then Larry told him, he says, I said,
yeah.
when he came
Mela
back
the
to
rest
himself,
as a you know that one?
Well, what was it?
Later when the Frida became Rebbe, he right away had this typhus also, and he was speaking, and someone Yankelando said that's the room. He said the Rebbe read from Hitz, read from Hitz. In other words, don't take him seriously.
delirium.
Yeah, like Hitz is high temperature.
That was
Like,
mine.
Delirium.
No, high temperatures.
yeah. So later, the Frida Rebbe came to. He said to Yankelando, he says, "Mela that you speak about me that way. But what about the son of the Rebbe? He heard it." Anyway, but here it's interesting. He writes that Baruch writes in the middle of the night. The Rebbe started speaking. The Rebbe Rashab, and he listened, and he said we couldn't hear all the words. He says, "See, remember that piece?" He says, "An Neshama gate ace from the Chibur from Yechudi Allah and Yechudi Tata." This is the Rebbe saying this in like last minutes, and then An Neshama is expiring from the Yichud of Yechudi Allah.
He finally reached where he was struggling.
Unbelievable.
He was struggling the whole
You got to read that piece. It's on about it.
Reach none.
You remember that?
None.
It made it. It made it. I know you can't. See, it's people with different caliber. Forget about it. Sleeping in his sleep, in his fever. That's what he's saying.
Reverend Shab had surgery without any anesthesia and he had such controls.
Where did we hear that story?
That I never heard either.
Oh,
The
my
Mud-
God.
the Mudras Rebbe, they say, with the Nigel.
It's for that.
Oh, with the Rebbe Shab.
No.
Mudras and the Nigel, the Meister of the Nigel.
I thought everything else was said about it.
The Mudras, no. The Rebbe Shab had plenty of Meich in the
was
gardens.
saying the story with that, coming out of Shopton Abzeh, with the Rebbe said all those stories.
Yeah,
With the Rebbe Shab Ayin Beis, and then the story with the Majid.
correct. And did I tell you what the Rebbe said them? And then told the story of the Mudras? That's not the Hanacha. I remember. I heard it. Yeah. He says, "Bered, I see this. No, there's the Delta Meiser from Mudras and with the Movet still." I remember that. The Rebbe, we didn't put it in the Hanacha, but the Rebbe like said it very like he under his breath. Anyway, oh boy,
The
okay.
Rebbe calls over Metzler, and I see this man, and I meant to go to the Rebbe, and I see a man standing there like a stone, and his face is changing colors. I've never seen a person's face change so many colors. Like you read about it, but I've never seen it. His face is changing colors from moment to moment, and then he walks back to his place, and this person I see is going through a storm inside. Other than the changing of the face of the colors of the face,
You think it was beside Sichli Chazak or beside
I think so.
Yiddish? It's all
It
right.
wasn't that it was one color the whole time because it was changing. You saw something was going on there, what it was telling you.
Yeah. It's a shame. Okay, v'yesh leimer the fishekeich hachachma hari b'chinas achize v'tfisa b'kli b'miktzas hakapanim. He's explaining now what the meaning is that so all this is a mashal of a chachma's elot keser. We're talking about chachma's mailim and keser. So not talking about mailim on keser. It's mailim itself basically. Mailim is le'er hakeser. It's like completely in the level of Pella. That's what he's explaining here. So Yeshleimer, what's the beer? Because Chachma, like Einig, is at least some type of achizah. It has something in a keli, at least a bit. Mixes akapon. And also, V'gam sheba b'chinas sir v'agbola shu b'chinas Chachma. Now, Chachma is not Keser. We said before, Keser is b'chala, remember, it's completely beyond the Shtalshlus. Not just Helam l'gabe the Gili, Helam b'etzem. Chachma, on the other hand, has some form of expression, the mikzus, nakeli, and also comes in a tzir of hagbola. It has some shape and form. It's not bina. Bina is full, like a simcha is full glory. Chachma has some shape and form. Alkain b'keichel ha'helam es ha'tainuk. That's why it has the power to conceal the tainuk. Because pleasure on its own is a koyach atzmi. It's an essential core type of faculty that has no tzir hagbola be'etzem. It ultimately has no shape and form at all. and doesn't become B'chinas Tfisa B'kli Klal, has no Tfisa at all, as opposed to Chachma.
It's an air blik.
Right. That is an air b'lei keli. It's an air without a keli. Real pleasure. Hu air habilti mugbal mitzuyir be'ezer davar. It's an air bilti mugbal. It's unlimited and can be shaped in any form, in any shape or form. Valkenu bobis galus shenikid al kaponim shemasanik.
Mr. Fadreda.
I know. So let's finish reading it. I know, because now he's saying Valkenu bobis galus shenikid al kaponim shemasanik.
Tiny Bobby's down.
Yeah. Why?
On the plea of Chachma has the power to be minded.
Yeah, that's what he's going to say here. But the question is,
when you take the theory,
but if Ainu gives be'etzem, how b'chal does it come begili? Doesn't she?
because it's the essence, so there's nothing to come up on it.
Okay. Rakli yeshi atzme ene bis pashtus kamei simcha. So it comes out begili. It's nikir.
Can't do what there's not to cover up.
Ki ein dover she'akavese. Okay, it's an interesting twist on the whole thing. Yeah. This is a whole different. Usually don't hear like this. Usually etzem is nishmas gala.
Right.
Okay, 1 second.
Because of the
So that's a very interesting.
because everything is always in a keli, but when you isolate it and you think about it,
That's why you need a chachma chazuk, because without that, in other words, take away the you need a special will. You need something.
Here he's not talking about etzem is gala. Etzem bleibt in his gala, but the etzem is there. It doesn't have to be in his gala. It's doch dort.
The chachma shadam teir panov. You see something. Okay.
That's chachma.
Okay. Rak chachma.
I'm talking a time with the etzem.
Okay. Let's finish. Let's see what he says. Rak chachma liyesh b'chinsir gam b'madrega yeshu gevei v'naila. But on the other hand, only chachma, which is some form of seer, even on the highest level, she b'chinas chachma kaponim. It's a level of chachma. There's some level there. Al kain b'yacholti lahaylim lahakiv because it's a form of some type of shape and form. It has the power to even stop that gilui. Or moving shamaylim salachli is be'erechu b'kiru velanelam. This is very
interesting.
Yeah. This is a whole moving, and it's self-understood. They didn't say self. I said self. My moving means it's understood.
Yeah, it's understood.
Yeah. More than self.
Yeah.
It's understood that the milim, a thing that conceals, has to have some connection, some closeness, some relationship with that which it's concealing.
This chachma that's concealing at a time.
Has to have some relationship with it. Kahari.
Yeah.
Is that not good?
It's koyach of ma. That's why.
We're just going to finish this page.
No, that's what
Ma is
Sundays
undefinable height.
to 10.
Okay. So it goes like this. Because we're not talking here about a dover, something that's concealing, that's a strange alien force. Chas v'sholom. God forbid. But we're talking about something that is misalim, something that's concealed in some faculty that's mislabish in the koyach. In other words, it just dressed in that koyach. So we're not talking about, like, for example, God forbid, you have someone who is holding a gun to your head, or some force that's imposing itself to conceal. We're talking about something that is being mislabish willingly, and that conceals. So in that case, it has to have some relationship. If a guy comes over with a weapon or some other threat, there's no necessary relationship between the thing that's concealing you and the one that's being concealed. But here we're talking about something that has some closeness. What is that? Well, hu atzmi. And since the thing that's being concealed is a atzmi, it has to be chachma, it can't be bina, for example. 1 second, let's finish. Honestly, we're learning it together.
Has to be from the same type, otherwise it can't hide one down.
Yeah. That's why chachma is a keich atzmi. Lo keich hamispashim kamei habina. Yichol l'haylam alatayim.
There's one leg down there and one leg up there.
This is a very abstract piece, and that was good for
It's
Stein.
the real mamutza.
Exactly. V'zeu sheyisamul sh'nei chachma davke Remember, this is all a beer in a Zohar that says the Lashon that Chachme.
Can go
What's the
down,
Lashon?
can go up.
Yes, Kisisapel
Can
Chachme.
go into Bina.
Kise v'levush la'ed atik kaddish. This is all an explanation in the Kabbalistic concept that Chachme is the Kise levush la'ed atik kaddish.
No, but Chochmah goes into Bina is verstandig. That's an
Yeah.
that's can verstehen.
Yeah.
But the flow from Chochmah that goes into Kesser, that's what's trying to understand.
Right. V'zeh sa'samas adeh Chachme da'v sa'samas adeh slapshus be'eze keach v'amaylam shalachlis keach as dafke l'chein zeh adeh Chachme da'v shu keach as u'b'shosh and the root of it zeh sha'ataynu nasa b'chinas Chachme u'b'zeh ha'masalam u'k'mosh yizbar. And the root of it is because Atainug became the level of Chachma. You have Pnimis Abba, Pnimis Atik, Ubezel Masalim, and there he's concealed. The Inyan HaHelam, Ein Zeshu and Pnimis Helam Mamish, he's just adding the thing. This does not mean a complete Mamish HaHelam. Kima Kavonish Al-Zei Ham Shochav Izgal, Pnimis HaKesed, Daina Atainug Ha'atzmi Kumesh Yizbar. The goal of this Helam is not to just conceal it. It's in order to have the real full gili of Pnimis HaKesed, the Tainug Atzmi. I guess it comes like this, that if you become so much Hispilus from the new Tainug, it would not allow the real Tainug to come because it's like the Dubis Nispolgon, you're there, you're Metzias. That's what he's hinting to. That the reason, that's why you, yeah.
Aha. The real thing.
So maybe that's why the Rebbe told him Hispilus, because you want to connect to me now,
The real
don't get
thing.
caught up in your emotion, you have to. This is still not healing you? If this doesn't heal you, my friend, I don't know what's going to. Yes. The Shadish B'chinas Zu, U'inyan B'chinas Chachmas Timah. The Shadish of this Chachma that concealed, it's Chachmas Timah, which is the hidden Chachma, which is really Chachma of Arich, of Kesser. She has B'keichel Ha'ayel Ma'hasta Shulchen Niklas Timah, Deloy Spatcha B'lamed Beis Shvila. Lamed Beis is Shivas Chachma.
Yeah, when it goes down, it's not just going down.
Yeah.
A flow from Chochmah and Kesser.
Let's learn the page.
It's Hecha Chalim.
I'm just going to learn the kitchen. I'm not Pella. I'm not Pella.
4 minutes.
I'm not Pella.
Then we're learning the kids.
I'm just learning the kitchen. No, he has to run now.
He has to have the mikveh.
I'm not Pella who can says please. Huh? Yeah. I'm just learning for myself. I'm not Pella who can Pella is how Chachmeh conceals the Pnimis HaKesed. Shubchin is Halam Be'etzim. Chachmeh le Pnimis HaKesed nikra Pella. Al derech Moshe Mishakech Chachmeh Chazim Bekech LaHaylam is Tainuk. The Tainuk the Yeshua Atzmei Nebis Galus Kamei HaSimcha. She is Bashuk Suchein B'Simcha B'Bina V'Eini B'Chachmeh. B'Kom HaGarim Nikim Nigla Kamei Tzov U'Pono V'Mishu Kech Chachmeh Chazim Bekech LaHaylam B'Gam Tainuk Atzmei.